Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, we're going to react to 20 failed live kidnappings caught on TV. Now, for me, so the kidnappers had to assume that they weren't being, filmed at the moment, because who in their right mind would try and kidnap somebody knowing full well that there's cameras rolling, they're being followed, because, even if they're successful in the kidnapping, you're on camera, they can see exactly where you're going, they can follow your car, they can follow whatever getaway vehicle that you're in. So you're just not going to get away with it. You're not going to get your ransom. You're going to get put in prison. Like, really, that's all you're going to get. So I hope some of these clips are going to show the realization, the look on the face of the kidnappers when they realize, this is over, my life is over, my freedom is gone. This should be a really good one.
Just minutes ago, we got this video that shows you what happens, how it unfolds. It was all caught on security camera.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 failed kidnapping attempts caught on camera.
Wow.
This
what
surveillance video that we've been showing you since last night of the attempted kidnapping led to a tip which brought detectives to Vin Nguyen and led to his arrest.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most spine-chilling recordings of botched abduction plots. Which of these shocking incidents left you the most terrified? Let us know in the comments. John Marshall
A lot of these guys weren't even subtle. Like, they literally just, grabbed a kid and tried to run off with them.
Employees at the Coeur d'Alene Parasail in Idaho foiled the attempted kidnapping of a young boy in August 2021. The boy had been approached by a man named John Marshall Randolph, who tried to take him away in one of the boats. The Parasail staff, including the owner, Jamin Rodriguez, sensed something was wrong when the frightened boy came up to them and reported that he didn't know Randolph.
Immediately, the kid went around me and kind of hid behind me and stated, "I don't know that man and he's not my dad."
When confronted, Randolph insisted that he was the boy's father before turning around and walking away. Rodriguez quickly called the police and followed Randolph to prevent him from escaping.
He's like, "Stop following me, leave and go back to your booth." And I was like, "No."
The boy was later reunited with his mother, while Randolph was arrested by police and charged with child enticement.
Wow.
Daniel Arroyo Beltran. On March 25th, 2020, Daniel...
Good thing the kid spoke up, If the kid was scared and didn't say anything, that guy, Rodriguez, may never have, probably would never have acted.
Arroyo Beltran accosted a mother and her 3 children at a bus stop in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Beltran snatched one of the women's children and assaulted her when she refused to give up the others.
At a gas station in Las Cruces, New Mexico, a man is trying to steal a pregnant woman's children, fighting everyone who gets in his way.
She was, however, able to escape from his hold and ran into a nearby store where she hid with her kids. Beltran forced his way into the store, attacking anyone who challenged him. Things could have gone horribly if not for Keenan Bauer, a high school wrestling champ who rushed into the store and pinned Beltran down until the police arrived.
It wasn't like a move that I did or practice. I just grabbed him from behind and pulled him down onto his back.
Bauer was hailed as a hero and received international recognition for his efforts. Deidre Gentry. Surveillance cameras outside an auto repair shop in Sacramento, California captured the moment that shop owner Ashraf Ali thwarted an abduction attempt. The perpetrator here, a woman named Deidre Gentry, confronted 2 unnamed women who were pushing a baby in a stroller and claimed that the child was hers.
Frantic moments seen in the video as the alleged attacker chases after the 2 women walking with a baby in a stroller. The stroller breaking free from their grasp, rolling on its own toward Ali's shop as he rushes out to help.
Gentry chased after the 2 women, only for the stroller to escape their control and roll into the direction of the auto shop. Ali then got in between the attacker and the stroller, preventing her from grabbing the baby.
But Ali says it left the victims rattled.
They are totally scared and they were crying. So I said to them, please come in my office, this is my office.
After police were called to the scene, they arrested Gentry and charged her with attempted kidnapping. Sonny Alloway.
Why? Why are people doing this? Is it something to do with, I'm not going to say it, I'm going to mouth it. Is it to do with that, that kind of stuff? Why? Why are they doing this?
It's an attempt so brazen, it'll send shivers down your spine. In December 2019, Sunny Alloway was filmed in a New York City train trying to talk to an unidentified woman as she slept.
Around 2:45 a.m., a man dressed head to toe in red tries to get a woman's attention as she sits across from him, hood over her head.
Once the train comes to a stop at the station and the doors open, Alloway grabs the woman and carries her onto a platform bench.
Oh
We're
my
not quite sure what his plan
God.
was after that, but thankfully it never materialized.
The woman manages to escape and runs back into the train, alerting the man she was with,
Oh
who appeared to be asleep next to her.
The victim was able to regain consciousness and quickly made her way back into the train before it left the station. Alloway reportedly received a dose of street justice before he was apprehended by the authorities for unlawful imprisonment. Unidentified Argentine.
Dude, that was scary. If those doors closed before she managed to get back onto the train and she was stuck at the platform with him.
This grainy footage came from a CCTV camera in Buenos Aires, Argentina. The clip shows a boy, identified only as Sebastian, walking down a lonely street in the middle of the night. A car pulls up beside him and two men jump out and attempt to drag him into the vehicle. Sebastian wrestles with the two men and is able to free himself from their hold against all odds. The boy lets go of his backpack and runs away, foiling their abduction attempt. His would-be kidnappers get back into their car and also flee the scene. It is unclear if any arrests have been made in the case since it occurred in 2017.
Probably not.
Vinh Nguyen. Early on a Monday morning in April 2022, a boy was walking to his school in Orlando, Florida when he was approached by Vinh Nguyen. A surveillance camera outside a restaurant captured the moment when Nguyen tried luring him into his vehicle.
You see the suspect approach the child and appears to put his hands on the victim before walking out of frame.
He allegedly told the child that he was cute and offered to drop him off at school.
Ugh. Oh my God. So this guy was a straight up chomo.
Thankfully, the boy declined his offer and continued walking. Nguyen was arrested the following day after the footage was given to the authorities. It was later discovered that he had apparently attempted to do the same to another child the previous year.
And according to court records, in 2019, Nguyen was arrested at a Colonial Drive sub shop for battery.
Nguyen was brought up on charges of false imprisonment, luring of a child, and battery. Sammy Wallace.
Who tells a random kid that they're cute and that they want to drop them off? Like, I mean, yeah, like nobody. No, like, you just don't do that.
A routine shopping trip to the local Walmart took a horrifying turn for Alicia Keating and her two daughters. While at the Oklahoma store back in 2013, a man named Sammy Wallace grabbed one of Keating's daughters from her shopping cart and held her at knife point.
I mean, like, okay, let's say that you're meeting your friend's kid or your, you know, like your family members had a kid. Of course you can say, oh, the kid is adorable, so cute. Like that context is fine. But in this kind of situation, it's obviously not okay. That's what I mean.
And her two young daughters shopping at an Oklahoma Walmart. Little did they know that man right there was about to strike.
Police who responded to other shoppers' 911 call attempted negotiating with Wallace for the girl's release, to no avail. After about 30 minutes of fruitless negotiations, the assailant reportedly began counting down from 60, stating that he would do the unthinkable when he reached 0.
Suddenly, the suspect starts counting down from 60 seconds. Police fear they are out of time.
Believing that there was no other option, one of the officers stepped up and fired a shot right at Wallace. Thankfully, the girl was unhurt. Henry Oscar.
Did Wallace die then? Did he lose his life over that?
Mazariegos Gonzalez. On August 16, 2019, a girl identified as Estella was walking down the street in a California neighborhood when she was accosted by Henry Oscar Mazariegos Gonzalez. The assailant grabbed Estella off the street and tried forcing her into his vehicle.
Surveillance video shows early Tuesday morning, while walking down Rutland Avenue, Estella came face to face with a man in a white truck who police say tried to kidnap her.
At some point, he reportedly struck her in the head with a hammer. After briefly letting go of the weapon, the brave girl grabbed it and hit Mazariegos Gonzalez, freeing herself from his hold.
I didn't have much arm swing, but I just tried to do what I could.
It was enough for him to let her go, and Estella ran as fast as she could as the kidnapper got back into his white Toyota Tundra and drove off.
Mazariegos Gonzalez remained on the run for nearly a year until he was apprehended by the police on April 19, 2020 in Guatemala.
Nice.
Unfortunately, the culprit never faced justice, as
What?
he took his own life in his jail cell before he could be extradited to the U.S.
Wow.
Esther Daniels. 26-year-old Esther Daniels was arrested and charged with kidnapping and obstruction of a police officer on June 22, 2019. Daniels had engaged in a tussle with a married couple at the Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport in Atlanta, Georgia, after attempting to abduct their children.
And you can see the family at the top of your screen there, folks. A woman in a pink hat walks up and appears to struggle with her parents, yanking on the stroller.
CCTV footage from the airport showed Daniels walk up to the woman and try to grab a stroller with one of her children in it. After the woman manages to fight her off, she reaches for another child but is interrupted by the father. Daniels tries to make a run for it, but she's taken down by a group of officers, who later put her in handcuffs and led her away.
And police showed up on the scene and arrested the woman. Officers say that the woman appeared to be experiencing mental distress.
Terry Ransom. This terrifying incident happened so...
Honestly, videos like this, because I remember when I was a kid, when I was 9 and my sisters were 7 and 5, we would walk home from school together. We would literally walk home, maybe not far. We're talking maybe maximum a kilometer. We lived quite close to our primary school. But nowadays, could you imagine seeing that? A 9-year-old and a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old walking home alone from school? You just wouldn't see that. It's just so sad, We have to be so vigilant these days when it comes to, our children and stuff. I don't know if I would let, when I have kids, touch wood one day, would I let my kids walk home like I did, at that young of an age?
If you blink, you'd probably miss it. On July 1st, 2016, a mother walked into a cell phone store in Victorville, California with her 2 daughters. While she held her infant in her arms, her older daughter played by the candy machine right next to the entrance.
The little girl began playing with a candy machine in a California cell phone store when the man appeared to snatch her.
Then, in a flash, a hand reached through the door and snatched the girl out of the store. That hand belonged to 24-year-old Terry Ransom. Luckily, Ransom lost his grip on the child and she was able to escape right into her mother's arms. The would-be abductor was chased down by bystanders, who held him until police arrived. He was charged with kidnapping and child cruelty.
The suspect, Terry Ransom, was then tackled and held by people until police arrived. He was arrested on suspicion of trying to abduct the girl.
Craig Bonello. For a preteen Florida girl and her mother, this was probably the most terrifying 15 seconds of their entire lives.
A brazen kidnapping attack thwarted by a fierce mother, all caught on tape. The whole scene playing out in a Dollar General store Tuesday morning.
While shopping at a Dollar General store on June 7, 2016, a man identified as Craig Bonello grabbed the girl by her arm and violently dragged her away. Without missing a beat, the girl's mother sprung into action, fighting off Bonello as he tugged her daughter through the supermarket's aisles, all in full view of surveillance cameras.
Her mother doesn't miss a beat. This mom, Ashley Harper, knows exactly what that woman was thinking.
There wouldn't have been, any doubt I would have thrown myself on anybody, and now I guess I have to be prepared to do that.
Bonello eventually let go and tried to make a run for it, but he was blocked by an off-duty sheriff's deputy and arrested.
Eventually, the man letting go, fleeing the store, only to be met in the parking lot by an off-duty officer.
Who was off-duty had pulled into the parking lot just by chance.
He was brought up on charges of kidnapping and child abuse, but was found not guilty by reason of insanity. Nassim Slamang.
Yeah, a lot of these people have to be, upstairs. They're not all there. Because they're just, the ways that they're doing this, there's just no way you're going to get away with it in a lot of these situations. So yeah, a lot of these people just have to be crazy, just nuts.
In September 2020, a video went viral on social media showing the attempted abduction of a child at a restaurant in Johannesburg, South Africa. In the clip, 2 women are seen sitting together with a young girl at the Bella Napoli Italian kitchen.
We were sitting outside and there were other customers here. There was a lady with her 2 kids. And I noticed that there was a guy running.
All of a sudden, 24-year-old Nassim Slamang jumps over the railing and lunges toward the child. Slamang's brazen attempt to abduct the young girl in broad daylight was, however, cut short by the restaurant's owner, Dishal Suku.
I don't consider myself a hero. People say you're at the right place at the right moment. And it all comes with preparation. And I think
well done, man.
The years of experience in martial arts
is what allowed me to react the way that I did.
Suku, a trained martial artist, immediately tackled the culprit to the floor, placing him in a chokehold while one of the women secured the girl. Slamang was swiftly arrested by police and charged with multiple counts of assault and attempted kidnapping.
The court has heard the suspect has an outstanding warrant of arrest and a string of previous convictions.
Timothy Todd Milner.
Man, that poor kid. Imagine that. You're just sitting with your folks, enjoying a nice Italian meal, and then you've got some random person like pulling you by the back of your head, like.
The tremendous efforts of a gas station cashier and customer made the difference between life and death for a woman in Coweta County, Georgia.
Deputies call it courageous, the quick actions of this store clerk and a customer at a convenience store off Interstate 85 in Coweta County last Friday.
Surveillance footage from the convenience store showed the woman and a man, later identified as Timothy Todd Milner, walk up to the counter.
Deputies say she asked the store clerk for a telephone in an attempt to call for help.
The woman was reported to have quietly asked the cashier for a phone, but after being handed one, Milner grabbed it from her and threw it on the counter. He then dragged her out of the building and into his truck parked outside. Noticing the ordeal, a stranger quickly took a picture of Milner's license plate, which aided in police locating him.
Very brave, very courageous, very helpful. They could have gone about their day and this lady would have been somewhere she didn't want to be with someone she didn't want to be with.
Upon his arrest, Milner was charged with kidnapping, false imprisonment, and battery. Nathaniel Rodriguez. Most of us do not
Whole lot of crazy people out there, you know. Whole lot of them.
know how we would react if we ever came face to face with a dangerous criminal. But Philadelphia convenience store clerk Manveer Comer knew exactly what to do in that situation.
At first glance, you might not realize anything's wrong here, but this is an alleged crime in progress.
While working the overnight shift on November 11, 2015, Comer stopped the apparent abduction of a doctor by a supposedly armed criminal named Nathaniel Rodriguez. Rodriguez allegedly kidnapped the lady and was attempting to withdraw money using her debit card.
He forced her to withdraw money from ATMs around town. Watch as they pull into this gas station and walk into the convenience store. The suspect gives a friendly wave to the clerk before they go to the ATM.
Footage from the store's cameras showed Comer leaving the counter and confronting Rodriguez just as the two are about to exit. The suspect then fled the scene in the victim's car, but was later tracked down and arrested after making use of her phone.
The clerk confronts the suspect, who you see reach into his jacket as if he has a weapon. The suspect then flees in the woman's car. Back inside, the clerk gives the woman a bottle of water. She's shaken but unharmed.
Santiago Salcedo. On October 11th, 2021, a woman...
Do you think people do you think mental health is on a massive decline, or do you think it's just because we've got more ways of recording it, for everybody's got a camera phone, social media, so we hear about things more, or do you think people just genuinely are mentally just a lot worse off these days? I don't know. I think it's a bit of both. Did things like this, kidnappings must have happened back in the day, 90s, 80s, 70s, etc., but I just feel like not just kidnappings, but just people these days, just don't seem to be doing as well mentally.
Was walking by a gas station in the Bronx with her 3 grandchildren
Wow,
when a
oh my
man
God.
approached them.
The attempted abduction was captured on surveillance video, which police used to track down the suspects.
Partially covered in a blanket, the man suddenly grabbed one of the toddlers and took to his heels. Initially torn between the captured girl and the other 2 boys left with her, the grandmother eventually chased after the abductor.
Her grandmother panicking and screaming for help while chasing him as the girl's younger brothers stand by, terrified.
Other bystanders...
those poor boys, you see them? Oh, they look so scared.
Brothers stand by,
Look at him.
terrified.
Other bystanders joined in, and they soon cornered the man, later identified as Santiago Salcedo, and he lets go of the child. After riding away on a scooter, police later caught up with Salcedo, who was reported to be homeless, and arrested him. He was arraigned on charges of attempted kidnapping and unlawful imprisonment.
There were literally a couple of people who chased the guy and who helped us with the police and everybody, so I would like to take them.
And this Bronx mother says that there is not enough thanks in the world that she can show this group of good Samaritans.
Thomas Woods.
Do you think maybe he did it just to get himself put in prison? Because he's homeless, he's got nowhere to stay. I guess in prison, at least he's going to have a bed, 3 meals a day.
Georgianne Baxter was at a Walmart in Bremen, Georgia with her daughter Brittany when her worst nightmare nearly became a reality.
And the video is stunning. A little girl fighting a grown man allegedly trying to kidnap her.
Brittany was playing in the toy section by herself when she was grabbed by 25-year-old Thomas Woods.
And then he just dropped me and went and ran off.
Woods, who had just been released on parole after serving prison time for manslaughter, was captured by surveillance cameras getting into his car and driving away. Police were able to use this footage to track him to his house, where he was arrested in less than an hour.
Police arrested 25-year-old Thomas Woods, who was recently released from state prison out on parole for manslaughter.
Although he denied even being at the store, Woods was charged with attempted kidnapping. James McGonigal.
Just been released. Maybe he was like another case of like, you know, being institutionalized, getting yourself put back in prison. Or maybe he's just a sicko. I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's always particularly shocking when an attempted child abduction not only occurs in broad daylight, but also right in front of their parents.
It's quick. And say, oh my God, my kids, please.
That was the case of Jacob Diaz, who was walking down a Queens street with his mom, Dolores Diaz Lopez, and two siblings. Diaz was slightly ahead of the rest when a man jumped out of a parked car and snatched him just a few feet away from Lopez.
Dolores Diaz says the men said nothing to her and she doesn't know them.
The quick-thinking mom and her other kids immediately ran after the man, 24-year-old James McGonigal, and successfully retrieved Diaz through the front passenger window. McGonigal was able to flee the scene in his car, but he was later arrested by police on charges including attempted kidnapping and reckless endangerment.
One of them, the driver, has been arrested and was taken to the hospital for a psychiatric evaluation. The other, the passenger, is still outstanding, and police believe the two may be father and son.
Manuel Towns.
Whoa.
It looked like something out of a Hollywood action movie. 25-year-old Brittany Diggs had already been abducted at gunpoint by Manuel Towns, who had repeatedly threatened to kill her.
He was like, well, since you don't have any money, you're going to help me get money.
Towns forced her into the trunk of her car and drove around in hopes of using her debit card to take out cash. This led him to a gas station in Birmingham, where he seemed to have withdrawn money from the convenience store ATM.
Brittany says panic was setting in.
My biggest fear was he was going to drive this car into a river. I'm going to drown here and nobody's going to know I'm in this trunk.
As Towns returned to the car and slowly pulled out of the parking lot, Diggs popped the trunk using the interior latch and bolted into the store. The Alabama nursing student made it to safety, and her captor was arrested by police about a week later.
A jury convicts Manuel Towns of several charges, including kidnapping, robbery, and 2 counts of fraudulent use of a credit card.
Derek McPherson. The door...
Man, she was really smart to be able to unlock the boot, the trunk of the car from the inside. You know, for me, if I was in that situation, just the confined, because I've got a bit of claustrophobia, being confined in that space, I'd be freaking out.
A camera at the Nash family house in Ohio captured the attempted abduction of one of their daughters in 2022.
So proud of her, because as soon as she screamed, he let go. So obviously, you know, it does work.
Kennedy Nash was taking out the trash when a man, identified as Derek McPherson, approached her and grabbed her by the arm. The young girl let out a piercing scream, prompting McPherson to release her and quickly walk past.
The whole encounter lasting less than 10 seconds. As Kennedy pulled away and screamed, the man quickly letting go.
Kennedy rushed back into the house and relayed the incident to her dad, Ricky, who got in his car and chased down the culprit. He was later taken in by authorities and brought up on charges of abduction and inappropriate grabbing. Ricky's swift chase may have secured McPherson's capture, but it was Kennedy's quick thinking that prevented the tragedy altogether.
McPherson appeared in a Butler County courtroom where he has been indicted on 2 counts of abduction and unlawful restraint.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and
they always look,
you know,
really like
you have the
just
option
not
to
in
be
a good
notified
place.
for occasional videos
The
or all of them.
culprits.
If you're on your phone, make sure you go into settings and switch on your notifications. Jared Paul Stenga. This terrifying footage from a street surveillance camera in Florida showed the exact moment young Allison Banal was nearly abducted.
This shocking video has been played thousands of times across the country.
Banal was waiting at a bus stop on the morning of May 18th, 2021, when a white minivan parked just beside her. The driver of the vehicle, Jared Paul Stenga, was captured running toward Banal and grabbing her as she attempted to scurry away.
She fought and she fought and she fought until finally she was able to break free.
Stanga, who was reportedly wielding a knife, was unsuccessful as Banal fought tooth and nail to regain her freedom. According to the young girl, she was inspired by Law & Order SVU to rub the blue slime she had been playing with on Stanga's arms.
She was playing with blue slime when he grabbed her, and she made sure to wipe some of it on him. That trick gave investigators just the evidence they needed.
This helped police to definitely identify him as the culprit upon his eventual
Smart kid.
arrest.
Smart kid. Very, very good. Super intense video. It's just, it's kind of sad that you can't even, you know, just be out with your kids these days in the public almost, you know. Like a lot of these people were just, you know, out at the store, walking down the street, and some deranged lunatic thinks that they're entitled to take their child from them. It's absolutely crazy. You know, like it just, I don't know, it just feels like things were simpler back in the 90s and the early thousands, like 2001, 2002. Not to say that things like this didn't happen, but maybe because we just didn't hear about them because there was no social media. Are things like this getting worse? I feel like they are. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.